is Skyfire News, the best UFO show on the internet. Skyfire News is on the internet. Skyfire News. Skyfire News. Skyfire News. Yes, sir. Skyfire News, the best UFO show on the internet. Skyfire News is on the internet. Come look for the TV, Skyfire News.
For the money, it's about to go fast. Got a plane ticket and you know it's first class. I heard someone talking that shit and I have to regulate. I need y'all dumb and easy to manipulate. When it comes to ufology, you know I caught the schism. Attack a housewife and then on to the next victim. I know you might be shocked, but that's just the way I am. Started so many UAP companies, I forget where you lay. I need y'all dumb and easy to manipulate. When it comes to ufology, you know I call the schism. Attack a housewife and then up to the next victim. I know you might be shocked, but that's just the way I am. Started so many UAP companies, I forgot which one's a scam, but scam. Doesn't matter though, cause I'm having all the fun with my white bread homies at the UAP Disclosure Fund. We out, y'all. These people ain't gon' sigh up themselves. We out, y'all. These people ain't gon' sigh up themselves. These people ain't gon' side themselves.
Galileo Jones was right again. God damn it. Are these aliens demons? Are they demons? Let me give you the gist of. For hundreds of years the Germans have been in contact with interdimensional beings. Please believe me, it's all a code, mind control, I know it, Joe. Trust me, bro, Alex Jones was right.
Psych. We like doing that to you guys because we forget to press the button so it stops looping. But welcome to the show. This is Skyfire News, where you get all your UFO news and culture. I'm super yellow. We're going to fix that. Welcome to the show. We're going over something called the UAP. What up, dog? We're going over the UAP Disclosure Fund today and some other, like, these connected businesses. A lot of people asking questions. We were asking questions too. We don't have the full expose or, whatever, but we do have some information we'd like to share with you guys, and we're going to go over it. So if you're interested in the UAP Disclosure Fund or businesses surrounding the UAP or UFO topic, and you want to find out more, how they're connected, if there is any connections, and what they're really up to, watch the show. We got it for you. What's up, Red?
What's up, Tupa? Still away from home. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be back. But 1-2 in the chat says, when did the UFO topic become driven by talking about people instead of sightings? The military doesn't have a monopoly on sightings. And that's a fair point, but also, like, you always hear me say, it's a counterintelligence angle, the narrative control angle. Any sighting you hear about, it's going to be from another person, another human, right? So this human element of the whole phenomena and cover-up is, like, I had some people say that about yesterday. It's like, well, we have the disclosure guy, Lou Elizondo, basically lying to every member of Congress using, like, Matt Ford, and, like, these dynamics and how information flows are important to understand. But if you're looking for an episode of just that, go watch our Patrick Jackson episode. That one is sick, and it's just about the phenomenon. That episode is that's a legendary Skyfire right there.
It really is. I would love, actually, if you guys would leave your responses to that or your reactions to it in the chat, or go watch it. If you let us know if you've seen it or you haven't seen it, it's badass. Definitely all about the phenomenon, and one of the newer theories that's out with some of the most exciting evidence you could find, and it's very thorough, very well thought out. Patrick Jackson, the Orb Network. So yeah, but every once in a while we got to talk about the happenings of what the culture's doing, right? Not just the UFOs themselves, but what's happening with these people, what's happening with these things, and these orgs that are popping up. So yeah, I'm excited about this one, man. I'm sure there are people out there that are loving this too.
Yeah, for sure. And it's we do it all here. We do the orbs, we do everything. LM says, you guys want to pin it all on Lou, LOL. No, not necessarily, but let's go ahead and get started. Yesterday's episode was kind of a beast. Today's should be a little quicker, a little faster, but Tupa came up with this one. Disclosure Inc. UFO Big Business, ? Skyfire News. We got the crew there. We got Gary Nolan, Matt Ford, Lou Elizondo, and Chris Mellon.
Yeah.
So before we get into this new organization, we thought it'd be good to kind of go through some of the other post-2017 organizations. And how could anyone forget To the Stars, right? In the bottom, we have that press conference that was on the 100-year anniversary of the Our Lady of Fatima apparitions, which I do not think is a coincidence. Dude, honestly, I feel like a lot of people like to hate on Tom and To the Stars, and because of the spaceship, but I think they get a lot of credit, dude, for really pushing things. That initial push, post 2017, all these dudes on one team, lobbying, and it was pretty epic. And the screenshots right there with the red, those are the current board members. So they dropped Mellon left, Lou Elizondo left, Steve Justice left from Skunkworks, but pretty much everyone else is still there. Still got Jim Semivan, still got Hal Puthoff. You still got Chris Herndon, who's the one we talked about, who went from the Trump camp or the Trump White House to TTSA. So I guess he's been there still this whole time. At least he's listed on their website. I pulled this today. So,
damn.
Any thoughts on TTSA? We're just going to run through like a bunch of these real quick.
Yeah, To the Stars Academy. I mean, it's kind of the reason why we bring it up. A lot of the same names that are in these new companies are in this first one. It's like a proto company. Big promises, though. I've not seen these same mistakes be made by any of the preceding companies that came afterwards. These guys were making big promises, first of its kind, with the biggest names. I mean, Tom DeLonge, and then from there it kind of meandered. Right? We don't even know what they're doing now. They're making movies, but yeah. And wasn't To the Stars a title of a book by L. Ron Hubbard?
I believe so, and I also think the Joe Fromage, it was almost like a proto TTSA, like in like 2008 or something, and I think it had a play on that name too.
Really? Okay. Interesting. Interesting L. Ron Hubbard connection there.
And yeah, like you said, a lot of the times it's kind of the same core group of people, honestly, going back to like the 80s. But so it is kind of interesting to take stock of like every time there's a little shakeup, a little reorg, who gets added, who stays, who doesn't. And yeah, this is kind of more the human side of the phenomenon, but like these people are influencing the subject and how we interact with it and speak about it. We have the Galileo Project, which is Avi Loeb's effort, kind of out of Harvard, which is pretty cool, right? I remember when this dropped, it was like, hell yeah, Harvard's in the mix, let's go. Avi Loeb's kind of been...
he's super vocal, man.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, net positive, right? Like, he has his little quirks here and there, you know what I mean? That Ukraine study he came out really hard against. Every now and then he'll be like randomly really hard debunking something that I'm kind of like, what's going on here?
Right.
But to have an official effort to like investigate UFOs, UAP out of Harvard is pretty sick.
No, that's no small feat. For sure. For sure.
Now,
so this is Skyfort, but the first two, right, or Galileo is considered one of the more academic, right, like up there with Soul Foundation, right, like the academic arm of this UAP research.
Correct, yeah. And To the Stars was like, they wanted to do media and science, right?
So they grabbed a rock star to head that company.
Yeah, so then the Galileo Project, like, because he said his science. And then do you remember this one, Skyfort? And actually, dude, I kind of forgot, like, our name is kind of close to this. It's pretty wild. Do you remember this?
Were they trying to capture, like, or create, like, camera systems that captured the phenomenon?
I think you're thinking of Sky 360.
You're right. Okay, walk me through Skyfort.
Skyfort was Lou Elizondo and Sean Cahill's little endeavor that they started in 2021, and it went for about a year. And I think this was after they left TTSA, or Lou left TTSA. And he did this with one of those guys is named Jesse Springer, and the other guy is it's Redacted guy, right? It's that whole little saga. So for a year they were.
Which one of those guys is the It's Redacted guy?
I want to say the guy on the right, but I'm not 100% sure.
It's Redacted was a YouTube channel, as far as I knew, and they had a lot of really great investigations into different UFOs, like sightings and videos. That's where the San Diego Sphere video comes from. It was made famous by these guys over at It's Redacted. But like they went silent. Did he just go into business with Lou and then never recovered after that, or what?
LM's gonna love this, but it is another one of those interesting things where, dude, It's Redacted was like the number one, right? This is before Y-Files was even a thing. The editing style, the content, the pacing, the voice. Remember the voice of the girl? It was amazing content. I think it's still up. You could watch it. And then, yeah, he went out to go work with Lou for like a year. And then after that year, you would think he would continue to do more. He just went cold turkey, disappeared basically. Doesn't post, doesn't participate in the community.
Weird.
You know what's really weird too? I almost kind of was like affiliated with this level. I was talking to the It's Redacted guy as they were kind of making this and building it, and I almost kind of like was a pretty big part of it. But I don't know. My gut was just like something feels off.
Hey man, listen to your gut, dude, for real. So
yeah.
So that's crazy. So I mean, your YouTube channel was blowing up. I mean, you're iconic in the UFO community. A lot of people, I'm sure, were reaching out to you, like, "Hey, what's up? Who are you? What is this? You know, why are you doing this?" That kind of thing. And other creators, I'm sure, right? But yeah, so these guys caught the sail, caught the wind, and then they went off to do the Skyfort with Cahill and Elizondo himself. But I don't hear anything from It's Redacted. Did they pour all their energy? Did these guys end up pouring all their energy into Lou or into Skyfort?
No Name UFO says Jake Mann. Yeah, that was the other name. Jake Mann.
Okay.
Remember that name?
Yep. Yes, I do.
And yeah, honestly, it's kind of like an unknown thing. Something I think definitely happened. I think the trajectory was... Oh, you know what also happened too? I think... I'm sorry, but... I think they were supposed to work on a documentary or something like that. And remember that trailer with like McGowan and they're driving? This was all around that time period. So I think...
How many companies did he start? Was Lou part of? And it's a very short period of time.
Yeah, this one only ran for a year. And I think they did some lobbying things. I think they were trying to do media and stuff too. I don't know. I've heard rumors that Lou was fired from TTSA. I do not know that for fact, but I also heard that it was just kind of Tom DeLonge's sister who was like not really managing the money well. I don't know that for a fact either, but for whatever reason, yeah, this thing was for a year. So this one was kind of like more political, but also they were trying to do media and stuff. But they had some documentaries and projects that just kind of never went through. Um,
Hey, real
yeah,
quick, we got a question from one of our guys in here in the chat. Hey, Red, do you know if Julian Dory ever checked out your doc on Colaris? I have not heard from him since our interview. He's been a busy guy. A lot of the interviews
yeah,
he's
he's
put out are
busy as
hard hitting.
hell.
We should reach out to him. Let's do a follow up. If chat's asking, we're asking too. All right, we're gonna do a follow up with Julian. We might do it on Spaces. We might do it on the show or something like that. But we'll reach out. We'll figure it out by
That
tomorrow.
was a fun episode. I'm glad we did that. But yeah, let's continue. We're going to go through some more of these organizations that have popped up since 2017. So
Awesome,
we
awesome.
did
Hey,
TTSA. Yep.
I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes. Okay.
I'll just, yeah. So we did TTSA, and then we did Galileo Project, and Skyfort was 2021 to 2022. Soul Foundation. So this was, when was this announced? I think this was announced 2023, right? Oh, great job, Heather Birdie, with these names and stuff. So here we see Tim Galladay. This is his first appearance in one of these kind of orgs, I think. Kevin Knuth, Jeffrey Cripple, Avi Loeb, Diana Pasulka, Jacques Vallée, Gary Nolan. He's kind of heading this thing. Peter Scaffish, Jonathan Burt, and Beatrice. I forget how to pronounce her last name. But as we all know, this one is kind of this one's like an academic one, right? Too. It's almost kind of like a Galileo project, but not necessarily affiliated with the university, although it kind of is with Stanford because of Gary Nolan. But we've seen them putting out like white papers. That's kind of what the main thing they've been doing so far. They also had a conference about a year ago where people like Carl Nell and David Grusch actually spoke at this too. And I think at one point in time, people were saying that like David Grusch was 100% a part of this. But I don't know if that's still the case. I mean, I don't think it is because he's not listed on their website, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah. Got this one, Americans for Safe Aerospace. Yes. This is the one, Ryan Graves, the pilot who's been pretty vocal. He didn't see a UFO, but he was part of the flight group that saw the gimbal UFO on the East Coast. And so he made this one, I think, about a year ago or 2 years ago now. Americans for Safe Aerospace. And they're basically kind of like a lobbying effort. They helped draft laws. This new law amendment that was brought up by that Congressman Garcia, Robert Garcia, they helped draft that. So it's really cool organization, I think. Oops. Okay. So what people will say too is that critics of these organizations will be like, oh, they're just they're trying to like set themselves up to like get some government dollars, which honestly is probably true. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. But let's just continue. I forget how many of these. Let's see. Is this? I think I'm just gonna skip this page. Okay, there we go. So those are some of the ones we've seen come up. TTSA is still around. It kind of started the thing. Skyfort came and left. Galileo Project came and stayed. Soul Foundation came and stayed. And now over the weekend, there was this announcement that was precipitated by a Buckle Up campaign.
Ooh.
The UAP Disclosure Fund. Tupa, where were you when you first heard about the UAP Disclosure Fund over the weekend?
I, believe it or not, was in my living room, and I was playing Zelda, and I looked at my phone, and I almost spit out my Capri Sun. I'll tell you that right now.
Nice. So yeah, this one was announced over the weekend. UAP Disclosure Fund. Let's go through the website a little bit. So on their website, it starts off, the American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena.
True. Red.
I'm trying to. The suspense song I think might be better.
Okay. I was like, what? I almost hit this shit up, dude. Like,
Yeah, it starts off with a quote from Chuck Schumer. The American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena. And like, bro, honestly, that quote is so crazy. We're so spoiled. And their mission. And UAP Mike was saying, whenever there's a new organization, you always want to focus on their mission statement.
smart. UAP Mike is a smart fucker, dude. Like,
yeah, because it'll give you like what they're kind of trying to do, and it'll give you something to hold them accountable to down the road. So their mission statement. The UAP Disclosure Fund is a nonpartisan political nonprofit 501c4 that advocates for greater government transparency regarding unidentified anomalous phenomena. We work to support new UAP legislation, provide legal representation for whistleblowers, promote scientific research, and raise public awareness in an effort to better address the UAP issue. So, pretty cool,
Okay, I mean-
right? Why not?
yeah. Okay.
They have a Twitter account and a YouTube channel. YouTube channel is at 200 subscribers. The Twitter account is at 4,000 followers. The Twitter account was made in December, which I find interesting. I
That
mean,
is
it's not
interesting.
like crazy, but
How many of those
and-
followers do you think that uplifting tweet spot for them? Just curious. That's an old joke. I'm just playing. Seriously though,
no,
go on. I mean, you never know.
yeah. What's something interesting about it is they only follow the UAP Disclosure Fund only follows one account, and it's SpaceX. It's kind of weird,
Ooh.
right? It doesn't even follow any of the board, and maybe there are some bots on this, but honestly, I don't think so because their board is so stacked, and I think that's what we're going to go to next. When I saw the board, I was like, "Oh shit, here we go! The gang's all back together." Oh wait, real quick, this is the
I'm
video.
here to discuss
This is the video on their website that plays like right when you start.
Really?
the so-called flying saucers.
Well, if there's a thing, it's rotating.
Last night's 60 Minutes story on UFO sightings by U.S. Navy pilots is causing a big reaction today.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they
Fire
are.
clip.
My hope is that we will use the U.S. intelligence community to solve this mystery once and for all, to find out where are they coming from, who's behind them, what is the agenda. We have the means and the capability to do that if we set our minds to it as a nation.
He wants
Can I
to
just pause
use
real quick? Yeah.
he wants to use the intelligence community to solve the problem. I'm sorry, but everything I know about the intelligence community makes me want to say, fuck no, Chris. I don't want to use the intelligence community to solve this problem. They need to get the fuck out the way, dude. Get out of my way. Get out of all of our way. I don't have to go through you. That's a strange thing.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
The Pasolka stuff, where she's like, intel people are like closer to angels than normal people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly. Every time I hear the word intelligence community uttered by these champions of disclosure, I'm always like, I don't know.
The double-edged
You know?
sword, though, right? You kind of need them to at least disclose things, but I think once we're in a post-disclosure world, it should be like everyone all hands on deck kind of situation. Although, like I will say, Chris has done a lot, so I'm not going to try and knock him there, but it was just interesting phrasing for sure.
Chris has done a lot. He snuck out some videos. I mean, but I don't know. When we say done a lot, I look at like 2017 as like as a big year for sure. But I'm starting to wonder, like, like, was it all just kind of planned like that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem right that like the same people orchestrating all these different moves, right, are praised for their first move as if like it was done in a vacuum or something. It just seems like this is part of the plan, and that's a thing. I mean, if that's the way it's supposed to be, that's the way it's supposed to be. If that's the way they want it, but I'm not necessarily going to like be loving that, and I don't think I do. Feels strange, but yeah, they're there, they're doing it.
Real quick, LM in the chat. It's redacted ended because of health reasons and a film falling through. They posted a year ago clarifying way to spin the narrative at Lou in real time. I think I did say the part about the film going through, but I will also say they did do there was this interview that they did with Jeremy McGowan after everything, where I recommend people watch that one. They don't really go into like some of the weird stuff, but basically they were all in the same vicinity when Jeremy McGowan's like the timeline of Jeremy McGowan's story at Lou's Ranch, like those guys were there also. So there's this kind of like weird acknowledgement of some weirdness, I think, LM, to be honest. But
Okay.
yeah. LM says, I thought this was news, but I guess it's Tupa spinning and getting emotional. All right, let's continue.
Did I get emotional on
You
this
solemnly
one?
swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
The American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena.
We're going to uncover the cover-up, and I hope this is just the beginning of many more hearings and more people coming forward about this.
Have you met with people with direct knowledge or have direct knowledge yourself of non-human origin craft?
Yes, I personally interviewed those individuals.
The best science, isn't it, is when you go against the grain.
Yeah. Eventually, the anomalies and the things that don't fit the picture add up to the point where you can't ignore it anymore. And so that's what has just recently happened. We're watching a Kuhnian moment.
This is huge, isn't it? We're at a huge moment in human history right now.
It's essential we keep working on our proposal to create an independent presidentially appointed review board that can oversee UAP classified records and create a system for releasing them where appropriate to the public.
UFOs, unidentified flying objects, are real.
Bill, I think we're beyond that already. The government has already stated for the record that they're real. I'm not telling you that. The United States government is telling you that.
Okay, pretty fire edit, not gonna lie. Pretty sick edit. And LM, we're gonna win you over, bro. You're hate watching now, you're gonna be love watching by the end of the month. What do you think of that edit, Tupa? It got all the key points, a lot of the key moments that's been happening.
Something tells me Lou had the final cut on that. Something tells me Lou had a final cut on that. That's my guess. I thought that a lot of the statements that were made prior to Lou's final statement hit harder. So other than that, I thought that the clips they used were interesting. You know, it's the same old gang talking about that same gang shit. So, you know, it was good. It reiterated a lot of stuff. I liked my favorite moment. I think might have been like this is a moment. And then you got the voice of the pilot, you know, like we got him. Yeah. Like that's very interesting. That was a lot of energy right there. So they nailed that. They crushed that. Good shit.
All right, let's continue along. UAP Disclosure Fund. What is this? So yeah, this is the board, and this was announced on Saturday. I had no idea that this thing was even in the works, but pretty stacked board. So let's just go from left to right. We got Lou Elizondo, Board of Directors, former head of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Gary Nolan, Board of Directors, professor in the Department of Pathology at Stanford University School of Medicine. I'm going to take off my headphones so that helps. Carl Nell, Board of Directors, Aerospace Executive, retired senior military officer, corporate strategist. I think Carl Nell was, he was like tangentially affiliated with the Soul Foundation, but this one seems to be a little more official, this connection. Christopher Mellon, of course, is there, Advisory Board, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and Staff Director of the Senate Intelligence Committee. I feel like, is the audio? Okay. And then down at the bottom we have Kirk McConnell, and we're going to go into some of these guys a little more. We have like a specific slide for some of these new people. For Advisory Board, former senior staffer for the U.S. Senate Committee on Armed Services. Yuan Feng, and this is who was in a space over the weekend, and I got to ask him some questions that we're about to listen to. Executive Director, Political Strategist, and Creative Director. Matt Ford, who we did a whole show about yesterday, Director of Strategy, Political Strategist, and creator of The Good Trouble Show with Matt Ford. And then Leslie Duckworth, Chief Financial Officer. So yeah, what did you think? Pretty stacked lineup, huh?
I mean, I definitely know some of these guys. Lou, of course. Gary, Carl, Chris. Good to see you guys. Kirk McConnell. Good to know and figure out who you were. Yong Feng or Feng. He sounded great. That was an interesting. We're getting raided. That's what's up. Okay. And then Matt Ford. Didn't expect to see Matt in there. So yeah, some familiar faces, some new faces. Interesting lineup. Still very vague on what they do, you know what I mean? But I get it.
Oh hell yeah, rated by Alien Girls chat. Hell yeah,
What's
love
up?
you guys. Yeah, stacked board, Matt Ford. Oh, I did, and I did ask. I asked Juan about this. What stood out to me when I first saw this list, I was like, oh, it's stacked. But I was like, where's Grusch? And then I was like, where's Grusch? Just like broad picture, dude. Has anyone heard from Grusch? Like, is Grusch okay?
Yeah, we need to
I miss Grusch.
Check in. Grusch needs to check in, dude.
He's like, what's the last thing he really did was Rogan in like November, I think, of last year. He didn't speak at SALT conference. His op-ed still, I guess, being held up. Yeah, and he's not
Dude,
here,
you have a
right?
PhD.
So
We love him.
I think this goes harder than the heroes thing that Ford made that one time, honestly.
Love this.
This goes super hard. Matt, you should, I'll just, if you want to screen cap that or something, go for it.
Yeah, screen cap that, Matt, and put heroes on it. Heroes of Disclosure.
And here are some of the tweets that some of these figures said as it was announced. And I think a lot of people, too, I talked to, they didn't know, like no one even knew this was kind of being worked on in the background. Chris Mellon, if you value transparency on the UAP issue, please consider joining the disclosure movement and signing the petition on the UAP Disclosure Fund website. Incidentally, board members and advisors receive no compensation, and there is no cost for joining. So, yeah. And we're going to kind of touch on a little more. The first real initiative that they've done is they're trying to kind of just do like a petition drive to get people contacting the representatives for the UAP or the NDAA UAP provisions. So it's in many ways it's almost like a big fun home type situation, but still cool. Lou Elizondo said, "I'm very pleased to be part of this amazing organization. Together we will prevail in our pursuit of truth on capital D disclosure."
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Lou.
We're happy, Lou. We're happy for you. Good for you, man. Can't wait for that book.
Honestly. Good. Matt Ford of the Good Trouble Show says, "Hi friends, please note my position at the UAPDF is unrelated to the Good Trouble Show. Hashtag UAPDF."
Wow, he's able to separate his businesses like that, even though they're literally about the same thing. So that's interesting. What a feat. Is he inhuman? That's a claim almost that reminds me of like when Nolan said that Eric Davis could not tell a lie. All right, we'll see about that.
You think you think he said this on his own, or you think someone like advised him to say this?
This guy has got Chris Mellon. I'm gonna try to be. I feel like he's got people's hands up his actual ass. I feel like people's hands are literally up his butt and they're puppeteering him. I don't know what he says that is his own words. I really don't. And I'm not saying like I'm not calling him a jerk, okay? I don't know. Maybe he's nice. Maybe we'll have a beer. I'm saying that I don't buy what he's selling at all. Like, and so when it comes down to this stuff, this is literally like something that he was told to say. Right? Someone in the company, right, was like, hey man, make sure you let people know that you're not going to be just pushing propaganda for us still. And he's like, all right, but it's just a puppet that they have on their hand. And the puppet's like, yeah. That's what I think. So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
I think an interesting takeaway is just like, at some level, he doesn't want one like mixing with the other. And I'm curious which way it goes and why, but I don't really know. But this was an interesting thing.
Yeah. Dan Freeman with a great observation. I think honestly, Dan, welcome back. Welcome to the show, Dan. Coming in hot.
I'm just gonna go through. All right, so this is Yuan Feng, and he was listed as like oh shit, where do I have it? 1 second. Okay, yeah. the political strategist and creative director, executive director. And this is the guy who hopped into space with us on Saturday with Matt Ford and the day it broke and talked to us. What was interesting is I went to his website, like that's listed on his like public LinkedIn, no doxing. And it looks like it might be like down or something like that. I don't know. Something is a little off there. He seems like a very nice guy actually. And when I talked to him, that's one thing I wanted to point out was that there might be some characters in this organization that I think are a little sketch. But I think this Yuan guy just kind of seems like a passionate UFO person who maybe has some history with political organizing. And he's just trying to do what he can. And I don't get any kind of malicious vibes from this guy or anything. But I think we'll be able to suss that out a little more when we listen to the interviews coming up here. This is Leslie Duckworth. She's also listed on the board. Her title is Chief Financial Officer. And on her public LinkedIn, she was the VP and team lead, and I think still is, for this an upscale furniture refurbishing company in San Francisco. It's pretty interesting. She might just be an executive who's into UFOs, and you know what I mean. So that's use your talents where you can, right? Now this guy is pretty interesting. This is Kirk McConnell, and he's a senior staffer. He's been a senior staffer in Congress for I think at least 20 years. He's served on the staff of like the Senate Armed Services Committee, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. He was also a staffer to Kristen Gillibrand recently, and that's important because she's been a very vocal senator. Sorry, I can't talk right now. A very vocal senator on the UFO issue up until recently, although she still kind of is in her own way. She also she's the seat that Hillary Clinton used to have, and she's close with Clinton, and I think that does kind of play into the whole her whole take on the UFO stuff. So something that Yuan said in the space, which I don't know if we have the recording for, was that this Kirk McConnell guy, apparently he's been like really busting ass behind the scenes these past few years as a staffer, like really pushing it and really excited. Oh darn it, is I think one of my pictures isn't working. No. Did that fix it? What should I do?
Walk us through it. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Well, the picture on the bottom we can talk about. So he's this damn, now I'm all like freaking out. Okay, so yeah. So this Kirk McConnell guy, right? He's part of this new UAP Disclosure Fund. He's also part of Americans for Safe Aerospace, the Ryan Graves flight safety lobbying group that we talked about earlier. Ryan Graves announced this just over the weekend too. So I'm honored to announce that Kirk McConnell has joined Safe Aerospace as an advisor. Kirk has had a distinguished career as a professional committee staff member in Congress, working on intelligence and national security, most recently with the Senate Armed Services Committee, where he played a key role in UAP legislation. And darn it, let me see. Just give me 1 second, because so you remember that Brandon Fugel picture, right? That like from 2 weeks ago or something like that, where Kirkpatrick was like, during the Green Street interview, where Kirkpatrick was like, I wasn't at this meeting, and then Fugel was like, wait, you were?
And Fugel actually had a photograph of that meeting with Sean Kirkpatrick looking directly into the camera at the meeting. Very sketch.
Yeah, and what people were saying on Reddit was that actually this Kirk McConnell guy was there. So let me see if I did this right. Okay, boom. Can you see that? Nope. Darn it. Okay. Sorry, guys. Boom. Okay. So people on Reddit were saying that he was there, and it kind of looks like him. So people were saying that this guy over here is Lukatsky, but this guy is Kirk McClellan, which would make sense. And if you guys will recall, this was a briefing for congressmen and I think people on the Senate Armed Services Committee about Skinwalker Ranch, and Brandon Fugel was there, and a bunch of the other staff was there. And this was the reason why this was in the news recently. Again, like I said, Kirkpatrick, some were saying lied, some were saying misremembered about whether or not he was here and what were the contents of this briefing. What's really interesting, though, is I think Brandon Fugel, correct me if I'm wrong, Tupa, didn't Brandon Fugel say that like Kirkpatrick knew about a bunch about UFO stuff at this meeting and stuff like that? So that is a pretty big discrepancy that could lead to something more down the line. So just to be aware of.
Yep. That's a funny one.
Yes, sir. All right. Let me go back to this thing. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's a little sloppy tonight. Last night was like beautifully flowing. So yeah, their first kind of current thing, right? So like it's like, what do you guys actually do? The first thing they're doing is a petition drive. Basically, they're trying to collect signatures, and I'll just read it. Target: U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, U.S. Senators Mike Rounds, Kristen Gillibrand, Marco Rubio, Todd Young, and Martin Heinrich. Now is the time to let the U.S. Senators who co-sponsored the UAP Disclosure Act of 2024 know that you support including a new version of the UAP amendment in the 2025 National Defense Authorization Act. In December 2023, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, New York, and U.S. Senator Mike Rounds, South Dakota, both pledged to continue working on future UAP legislation.
All right.
It is crucial that we let them know we support their efforts and hold them to their promise. It is also important that we advocate for increased protections for whistleblowers who might come forward with important information regarding UAP. The UAP Disclosure Fund is a nonpartisan political nonprofit that advocates for greater government transparency regarding unidentified anomalous phenomena. So what do you think of that? For their first little campaign initiative.
We're in. We're in.
Shoot.
We're back
okay.
in.
Oh, I was reading it the whole time without the thing. But yeah, what do you think of this? Did you hear it at least?
Yes. No, I was listening the whole time. And once this thing popped back up, I mean, StreamYard's helping us out over here. But yeah, I think this is interesting, man. Good find. 2025.
Wait, is this the real Thomas Fessler or a fake Thomas Fessler in chat? I think this is a fake Thomas Fessler. Tupa has horrible messages online. Check them out.
Let's see.
Oh,
Hold
this
on.
is.
Is this King Milk Dick?
I think it is. Tupa has horrible messages. Oh, I'll get to Nick. We're getting raided.
This.
We got all these different names.
I love this. I love this.
Tupa has horrible messages online. LOL. This is hilarious.
Yes.
But this is actually a beautiful development.
Let it ride.
It means exactly what I think is happening. Okay.
What is that?
Well, let's continue.
These fucking idiots. All right. So, I'm loving this. Look at this. Trolls out here proving Tupa right, and they can't stop, and they really won't stop. We got the next slide in the mix, bro. Let's go.
But yeah, so I thought it was interesting, kind of the way it's worded. It's almost kind of like, I guess I'm just kind of traumatized by this community, to be honest. Whenever I hear stuff like, we got to remind them that they promised to do this, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, let's make sure we do it calmly and like, not Sawan method. Let's do it like Lou Angeles method when he was UCR Lou. Yeah, I mean, what else? What I'm also curious about is kind of like with Matt Ford too. It's like, who's really making the decisions here? Like, is Yuan deciding this, or is it kind of coming more top down from like Mellon? Do they all consult? How often do they meet? Things like that. I'm not saying it in a nefarious way.
Right.
Just curious how like the dynamics of this actual group are.
They seem pretty locked in. I mean, it's the same people every time. They use the same messaging every time. So like, I think the structure is really tight. I would have to assume the structure was like locked, like a hierarchy. You know what I mean? Yeah,
probably. There's a donate option. You don't have to donate to sign the petition, right? So, but if you want to, you can. And I think Mellon said that all the people are doing it, like Lou and crew, are doing it for volunteer. So like they're not getting paid, because people were kind of dragging them and calling them grifters. And I think because the organization has the word fund in the name, might have contributed to that. But yeah.
Hey guys, this is Yuan.
Okay, so now we're to the interview part. This is Yuan. As we went over, he's kind of like one of the chief organizers of this effort, I would say, and he answered some questions in a space over the weekend, so we're just going to listen to it. Yeah, this is a simple, easy show today.
I'm the founding executive director of the UAP Disclosure Fund, and as you know now, tonight was our big launch, and we're very excited about it. And we are a new nonprofit, nonpartisan political advocacy group that is going to be pushing for greater transparency from our government regarding UAP. And we're going to be advocating for more legislation coming up here in the 2025 NDAA that will include elements of the 2024 NDAA that were removed at the last minute. Elements like the Presidential Review Board that would be responsible for reviewing previously classified UAP records and giving recommendations to the president on how to release those records to the public over a relatively short period of time. And we're also advocating for greater whistleblower protections because the protections that are in place now are not sufficient. And it's one of the reasons why, since David Grusch last year, we haven't seen, more come forward. Even behind closed doors, it's been difficult. As many of the people here know, there's been a lack of trust with Arrow, and wanting to come forward and share with Arrow. So what we really need are greater protections for whistleblowers enacted in the 2025 NDAA, and so that's something we're advocating for. And our initial campaign out of the gate here is to rally public support and have people sign a petition that we will, in a number of days here, we're going to submit the petition to Schumer's office, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota, Kirsten Gillibrand, Marco Rubio, Todd Young of Indiana, and Martin Heinrich. These are all people who co-sponsored the 2024 NDAA. So we know that they're getting close to beginning work on the forthcoming National Defense Authorization Act. And so now is the time that everybody in the public who cares about this topic and wants more transparency needs to make their voices heard. So we're trying to, get that initiative started out of the gate here. And it'll be a priority for us moving forward, I think, for the rest of the year, as hopefully, legislation gets added. And then we need to make, as many people here know, at the end of last year, Chuck Schumer and Mike Rounds went on the Senate floor and had a colloquy, which is an exchange between senators, and they pledged to continue working on transparency legislation. So we need to show them that we support their efforts and also that we're going to hold them to their pledge.
All right, thoughts on that, Tuba? That was his introduction to everyone.
I like that guy.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like he's I'm just so PTSD from this community, bro. Some of the people on this board suss me out, no lie. But I feel like he seems like a good, well-intentioned dude, and that's I used to dabble in that world, right? The political stuff. So yeah, that's cool. Why not? Let's see.
Yuan, I was wondering if you.
So here's me asking Yuan.
Great question.
How did the board come together? What was the timeline here? Because I love that kind of stuff. You can learn a lot of things that way.
You could break down how all these different kind of parts on your board, how they kind of came together, and what the timeline of that was just on the creation. And then you said something about Kirk McConnell and him being a policy advisor. I'm curious about his background, and also the lady Leslie Duckworth. I'm not really familiar with her. If you could maybe speak on her. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So the genesis of this project happened last year, and it was because I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Lou Elizondo. Prior to that, I was, like so many people, somebody who was just very interested in this topic, and we had the opportunity to get introduced. And it was at a time last summer when we had the congressional hearing. We had David Grusch coming forward, and that's when, as somebody who has a background in politics, I started to see that there's a
I hate, and LM's gonna hate this one, but I hate that I just feel icky when I hear things like this. Like it all started when I met Lou Elizondo, and you know what I mean. Like I can't just be like, hell yeah, that's dope. I'm like, what happened here? Just be careful, man. If you're watching this, you're gonna want to read Jeremy McGowan's articles. You're gonna want to maybe listen to an episode of Lou Reviews. It just reminded me of Lou Reviews talking about the restaurant thing. But
don't you think that like his view is tainted already? Like, don't you think that like, you know, if he had he's been briefed on enough things to like basically not have to face this stuff, like, you know, like for instance, like, you know, you're like, hey, you know, go check these videos out or whatever. Like he might have been told not to listen to you. He's in a business with these guys. Like he signed paperwork and shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's getting paid for this position. I imagine he's been well briefed on a lot of this stuff. But did he get the right information? Is he going to check? Is he going to look more into it? You know, right now I see a narrative forming that says that people shouldn't listen to UFO Twitter. It's funny that the louder we get, the more efforts are made to discredit us than the platform, than Spaces. it just keeps going on. But yeah, if he's out there watching, check into it, look into it. There's a lot of weirdo stuff going on, man.
There were enough people out in the public, you know, as I watched content and, you know, and found my information the way I would find it, I would just see this appetite out there for some sort of political effort that was organized to, you know, organize people and make the messaging clear. So that was kind of what sparked my interest in proposing the project to Lou, and then we collaborated on it. It was an idea at first, and we kept revisiting it, and then we slowly but surely kind of added the pieces over the following months. And it was a process of, you know, myself getting to know others who are now on the board, and building those relationships, and really, you know,
people will hate us for always bringing up these like these rhymes, but bro, it's I didn't realize how similar this is kind of to the Lou Angeles meeting Lou Elizondo, and then before you know it, doing the Big Fun Home thing. I bet you Lou Angeles probably gets hella triggered watching this. But do you feel what I'm saying there?
Yeah, but you want to? I mean, elaborate if you want to. Go in on that one. I think it's a good question.
Well, just like guy meets Lou, becomes like UFO activated, becomes grassroots activated to do like political stuff in the consultation with Lou. And you know, like I said, Lou has plenty of great moments, right? He's not always like on some weirdo shit, but he definitely does have some kind of weird, at the very least we could all agree on, interactions. There's plenty of people who get close to Lou and then something weird happens, and I just find it interesting. It's like he meets Lou Angeles in a restaurant, and kind of like gives him the jump start to do his show and like do the Big Fun Home and this big political drive. This seems like obviously maybe a little more professional, and it's kind of like with Matt Ford. Like Matt Ford and Lou Reviews, they each have their own little things they offer. This guy has his own little thing he's offering too, and I honestly hope it goes well. But I'm just a little wary. I'm just cautious.
I think it's good to be cautious.
Proof of concept and developing the idea, and that's how it came about. It sort of happened organically in that regard. We've worked with a really good law firm in DC that has helped us in terms of setting up the nonprofit specific to our needs. That took some time as well. So yeah, it was I was hoping that we would be up and running, some time ago, but the way that everything has unfolded and the way that we ended up assembling the people. For example, you asked about Kirk McConnell. He's one of the most recent additions to the project. He retired from the Senate Armed Services Committee back in February after many years of working there. And many people, most people have never heard of him. He was always behind the scenes in the Senate, our Senate committee. But he's been one of the people that behind the scenes was really advocating and working on UAP legislation over the last few years. So
they're talking about that McConnell guy, Kirk McConnell. And as I said, he was a staffer for Gillibrand. He probably helped draft the legislation that made Arrow, honestly.
he's left that role and now wants to, in this point in his career, wants to work on different things, and he's still passionate about the UAP topic. So we are really lucky to have somebody like him on board, because he's going to bring all of that knowledge and insight that he gained from all those years on the Senate Armed Services Committee and help.
I really want to talk to that guy, and I talked to Yuan too. I talked to any of these guys, but that Kirk McConnell guy, he probably has some very interesting stories about the legislative process these past few years related to UFO stuff.
Let's navigate that moving forward. And we really feel like that's one of the things that's unique about our organization right out of the gate, as I alluded to earlier, is these relationships and these connections, in Congress and inside the Beltway, really, give us a leg up in terms of trying to be effective with what we want to do, with communicating with lawmakers, moving forward.
All right, so they're really harping in on the reputations of the board they've assembled. We see them there: Lou, Gary Nolan, Carl Nell, Chris Mellon. And it's like, it is kind of like a TTSA 2.0, right? Which is fine. I don't know. I mean, I wish them well, but there's kind of some spookiness going on for sure with this board. I don't know.
Yeah, the board has some sus elements to them. I mean, some of the things aren't. I mean, I'm not over here digging into their lives or anything, but a lot of it just has to do with their online presence and what they do and who they engage with online. Like, I would think that, like, of all the things that you could do if you were involved in like a public-facing company, openly engaging with the people that they engage with and talk with and encourage and kind of salute. Would be like a really bad thing. Like if a reporter or someone like picked it up and was like, "Hey, I don't like these guys," or a competing company was like, "Hey, look at what these guys are doing." I mean, it would be like salacious. It'd be like, it could be deemed as bad. And I mean, but that's his own thing. Outside of their behavior on social media, these guys seem like very intelligent people. This company could have the juice it takes, right? And with a strategist like Matt Ford, how could they not take this all the way? But yeah, I like this guy.
Yeah, I like him too, and I worry about it. No Name UFO in the chat says this ends with that guy burned out, holding the bag. Cycle completes.
If history has any clues here for us, then yeah, I think that might be the case. But we'll see.
Yeah, I like this guy too. Okay.
Is there a specific policy?
I asked about. I wanted to know specifically, what are we talking about? Not these broad, lofty, help whistleblower terms. What are we really trying to do? And then also, where's Grusch? So I was able to get these questions in. It's pretty fire, not going to lie.
These regarding whistleblowers that you are hoping
quiet,
to enact to ensure more.
I can hear it good.
Also, do you guys already have some, like obviously you don't have to name them or anything, that you already are representing that you kind of plan on rolling out? Or is this just kind of more setting up for the future? And is Grusch in any way affiliated or working with you guys?
Great questions. When it comes to specific policies with whistleblowers, I can speak to the fact that and I'm not an attorney and an expert in the mechanics of laws that would protect whistleblowers, but what's been explained to me is that right now the whistleblower protections that are in place are not sufficient because they are very retroactive in nature. We have, right now, a whistleblower can come forward and bring information to Congress. Suddenly, the program they've worked in, their bosses, they all know what happened. And then, legally, they're not supposed to have reprisals against them. But in reality, that can happen sometimes. And nothing happens until there's been some reprisal. And then they file a complaint with the Inspector General. And then the Inspector General does an investigation to see if their complaint is valid. So it's retroactive. So what we need are proactive protections where they know before they're going to come forward and basically end their careers and put themselves potentially at risk. And if they were to come public, they would be under all the scrutiny. We need to have policies in place for protections so that they know that they're protected before they come forward. And that would be things like making sure that they would be put on paid leave, making sure that they have proper legal protections in place. And one of the things that we want to do is basically be there to provide legal support in the form of representation, in the form of public relations support and media relations support for anybody that might go public in the future. Because, you know, these are people who have been working behind closed doors in programs that are super top secret, and if they come public, you know, they're not used to having reporters calling them and, you know, the world seeing who they are. So, you know, we want to be able to provide that kind of support as well. So this hopefully will provide a situation.
So we got paid leave. Cool, why not? Media training. I think that's kind of smart. Now, is this a response to Jason Sands going on a Twitter space? Maybe. Interesting.
Situation where they feel more comfortable coming forward. And yeah, in terms of your question of David Grusch, you know, he's part of, you know, obviously an important part of the whole story that's happened over the last year. I mean, we're basically right on the year anniversary since he did his interview with Ross Coulthard in News Nation, and the debrief story came out. And so I think it's very possible that we may be working with him more directly in the near future. We're still looking into that. As is publicly known now, he potentially is looking at going to work directly in Congress as an advisor. So, you know, whether he would, how much and what kind of role he might have with us in the future remains to be seen. But yeah, we're, you know, very close and connected with him.
We're very close and connected with him. So there's definitely some communication, it sounds like, going back and forth. Looks like they're maybe just waiting to see if he takes that job, I guess, with being like a staffer on his own right. But that's good to hear. At least he's talking to someone. I'm worried about Grusch, bro.
Yeah, me too. A lot of these guys, they seem like really nice guys. Like these whistleblowers, like they've been through a lot. You know what I mean? So it's great that they have advocacy out here. It's a good thing. But could that be manipulated? Could they be used as a tool? You know, like a children of men situation? I think so.
And
always a risk of that.
And like I said, I do like this kind of cheesy political stuff. Like, let's all sign a thing. Like, you know what I mean? Believe it or not, I was a big supporter of the Big Phone Homes. I would have been on the last one, the dramatic one, but the timing was off. So I don't know. I'll probably sign the thing. I still haven't yet, if I'm being honest. But
Right.
I don't really feel compelled to donate. But I mean, signing something doesn't hurt. But I was kind of hopeful, right, that this would be maybe this is like a good thing for unity in the community and whatnot. And then what happens, Tupa? We
What
just
happened?
continue to be proven right.
Tell
Oh
us.
wait. This is real quick. They were getting a lot of grifter accusations. This is just Matt Ford responding to one. We don't have to really read it.
Matt Ford, he basically says, "You work for us."
Well, actually, screw it. Let's read it. Yeah. Speaking slowly as the host of. Oh, so now he's back to the host of Good Trouble Show. I have six thoughts on
moving
the
fluidly. I like this.
I have 6 thoughts on the debunkers that throw around grifter like it's going out of style. By the way, I'm not talking about skeptics. My pet rock understands how the real world works better than these folks do.
Oh,
They need
dumber
us.
than rocks. Okay.
They need us. Without us, they have no content to line their pockets and egos.
You work for
the
us.
For the professional debunker is not working for a cutout. It's a classic case of psychological projection. Many lack basic reading skills and comprehension skills. At the end of the day, ask yourself why the carnival barkers, hucksters, and professional debunkers spend so much time and energy going after a topic they think is fake. I could swear that order of nouns I've heard Lou Elizondo say. Carnival barkers, hucksters, and professional debunkers.
Yeah,
That sounds like,
of course.
right? Yeah.
Of course.
It's a full-time job. They spend a lot of energy on this. And that would corroborate what we heard Gallaudet say on Sean Ryan, right? Where he's like, there's people paid to discredit Lou. Their job is to create noise, distract, and have people spend their bandwidth interacting and fighting with them. People only have so much time in the day. If they can get you to spend your time on them, it successfully subtracts from the time that you could be spent being a constructive member of the community. Refer back to thought number 4. Number 6, in the end, history will not be kind to them. The internet never forgets. That's a Lou-ism too. He was all about that.
The
You can
internet
take
never
number 6
forgets.
to the bank. Have a great day, and thank you to everyone here who is demanding the truth. Matt.
Matt. You ignorant slut. No, he's Oh, what's going on here? What's this slide about?
So yeah, as I was saying, I was hopeful maybe we'll get some things, and honestly, I hope that this Yuan guy is unaware of this, but he should be. So it looks like this is posted by Morgan Lerner today. It looks like our favorite King Milkfart is an unofficial, official enforcer, bully on behalf of the UAP Disclosure Fund, and is being cheered on by Gary Nolan as he does it. So we got Jason Colavito. He actually quote tweets the tweet we just read, right? The one where he's calling skeptics, talking a lot of crap to skeptics, right? Like pretty inflammatory, I would say.
Sure.
Jason Colavito, who's a known skeptic in the community, quote tweets that and says, Matt Ford is the director of strategy for the UFO Disclosure Fund, a corporation seeking cash donations from UFO believers for undisclosed purposes. His job is to think of ways to get and use other people's money, but tell us again how debunkers are the ones somehow getting paid. Yeah, I forgot that this was a quote. He's responding to the claim that like the debunkers just do it to make money off of the believers, which I don't think that's true. I think they just are debunkers. Some of them are probably feds, but and then so we have King Milkfart here, a corporation seeking cash donations from UFO believers for undisclosed purposes. If you have even one bit of common sense, you would retract that accusation before you ended up regretting the absolute fuck out of it.
Whoa.
So I'm kind of already getting ugly.
That's a threat.
Language.
That's a threat.
Yeah.
The enforcer's in. Okay. He's clearly got someone to defend. I wonder whose side he's on, guys.
Jason Colavito says, it's on their website. They ask for donations. They do not offer full transparency on where the money is spent. King Milkfart. It's on their website. Read it again. I don't care if you don't retract that statement, LOL. I'm just letting you know that you'll absolutely wish you had in the very near future if you don't. So
well, hold on. Let's just go over this. This is King Milkfart. This is someone who has accuses his targets. He just does targeted harassment against people who question this narrative. He's accused them of the R word. He's accused them of the P word. He has all of these false what he does is he smears people and wraps them up in these crazy accusations and smears their name all over the place, right? And with lies and slander. He is I don't know if he's racist, but he says some of the most racist things. He actually called me a classic dumb N-word, and he spelt that whole word out, and he posted that online. So this is someone who's totally able and willing to use these crazy baseless attacks, racism, sexism. He's sexually harassed I'm not kidding you. He's made probably hundreds of sexual remarks about my kid. This is a person who promotes the abuse of minors. This is a person who is clear. I mean, the record speaks for itself. The record speaks for itself.
And interacts with Lou Elizondo and Gary Nolan. And as we see here, Gary Nolan again. Now, I just want to...
This is strange because this is a direct threat. He says, you will regret the absolute fuck out of it, which means, that he's going to make this person regret their actions. So he's enforcing the will, right, of the UAP Disclosure Fund. He's enforcing the will of it. He's defending the integrity of it, right? And then you got this. I'm just letting you know, he says, that you will absolutely wish you had retracted the statement in the very near future if you don't. So here he is. He's basically saying, ultimatum. It's a threat. Now you'd think that people would distance themselves from this, but
real quick, I want to back on this real quick. The sentence he's having an issue with is a corporation seeking cash donations from UFO believers for undisclosed purposes. That's still technically true, right? And and then it's like, you retract that accusation before you ended up regretting the absolute fuck out of it threat. And like you said up here, I'm just letting you know that you'll absolutely wish you had in the very near future. So like either he's threatening him or he has some knowledge of like they're gonna sue for defamation or something like that.
No, they're not going to sue him for defamation. King Milkfart doesn't sue people. What he does is he wraps them up in fake sexual assault claims, fake criminal claims. He just will. The only thing that we've ever seen King Milkfart do is harass docs. He might grab Jason Colavito Colorado, whatever. He might grab the pictures of his kids, the pictures of his family, and start spreading them online under fake accounts in order to intimidate him. I'm not guessing. That's exactly what he's done multiple times. So that's what he's saying. I don't think he's not speaking for the legal team of the UAP Disclosure Fund, in my opinion. He's just using his means, which are just being behind a keyboard in his mom's basement. He's using his means to make these baseless threats, and he sounds more ineffectual and feminine than Matt Ford here. Right, you can like hear the hair falling out of his head as he says it. It is rough. Real quick, we got a super chat, boys. The Matt Ford song is a hit, catchy tune. Thank you for the $2 super chat.
Nowadays I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. They getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for.
Chef C, we'll play that song for you after the show.
So at this point in the thing, it could be just like King Milkford is taking this upon himself to be a jerk on behalf of the UAP Disclosure Fund, right?
Okay.
But then it continues a little bit more.
Oh, it goes on.
So this is all the same thread. That's important to know. King Milford says, you're bitching about not immediately having the specific details of each and every activity that a newly announced nonprofit will be putting in the future. Not about the money siphoned from US APs with no oversight. Tough. Have a good one, big guy. Jason Calavito says, no, I'm just saying that the guy strategizing how to use other people's money shouldn't be making false claims that skeptics are on the take. King Milford says, do you prefer to use a handcart or forklift when you move those goalposts, LMAO? Which people would point out that like they didn't even move the goalpost. Like he's still kind of maintaining the same position he had since the beginning. But then after all this thread, Gary Nolan sends King Milkfart a little festival face. So after if you have even one bit of common sense, you would retract that accusation before you ended up regretting the absolute fuck out of it. After I'm just letting you know that you will absolutely wish you had in the very near future if you don't. Which
he's celebrating King Milkfart here. Now, this isn't the only time that Gary Nolan has rewarded King Milkfart with an attaboy for essentially going after one of his critics, right? And Jason and Gary Nolan have a history. I remember they've gone toe-to-toe before in comments. So as long as King Milkfart is attacking his enemies with racist, sexist, sexualizing minors, as long as he's doing that, as long as King Milkfart is attacking the enemies of Gary Nolan, is what it looks like, Gary Nolan will never block King Milkfart. He'll never, in fact, he'll reward him with with these types of messages. And we know for a fact from proven with alleged screenshots of a group chat shared by the graphic designer of Weaponized, Jeremy Corbell's show, a friend of Gary Nolan. Gary Nolan goes to King Milkfart to find out the juice on the community. So while King Milkfart, we wondered, why is he out there? How does he have the means and the motivation to be digging up all this dirt and all these both facts and lies about the targets or the critics of this UAP group? A lot of whom are in the UAP Disclosure Fund. In fact, they make up about 75% of the UAP Disclosure Fund, right? These same core people that if you criticize, King Milkfart will make sure you regret the absolute fuck out of it. And how he does that is he attacks the children, the wives, the moms, the grandmas. He doxes your whole address. He sends people to your address. He makes sure that the dangerous people who need your address to get to you will get to you. He, in fact, one time, very recently, we're talking within the last month, he threatened a woman, a single woman at home, or not single, but definitely a woman living at home. He threatened the wife of a man and said that, hey, he's outside. He's outside. Come outside. So he physically taunts and threatens these people. He threatens the safety of people. And this is the person that Gary Nolan is siding with. We have gone into depth about the kind of stuff that King Milkfart has done. We have documented it to a crazy degree. We are welcome to go look into it. If this is your first time viewing this channel, dig back in the crates. Dig back in them. Go check out the world. I think King Milkfart just unblocked me so he can start to tag me in a bunch of stuff. What he has done is he uses a filter. Just now he did this. Uses a filter, makes me blacker than I am, fatter than I am, and then proceeds to try to mock me for that. Racist piece of shit this guy is. Why Gary Nolan decides to side with him only makes me question if Gary Nolan is actually stupid as shit. And I mean that. I'm not calling Gary Nolan stupid, right? But I would say this, and I mean this. If I was in a company with Gary Nolan, if I had signed papers and I was on some kind of fucking list, and I signed a paper with him, and him and I are in business together, and I see this, and I go to something like, let's say, the King Milkfart Harassment Archive, and I look at the stuff that he has done, the stuff that he's admitted to doing, telling a gay man to put a gun in his mouth and blow his brains out multiple times. This is the worst of the worst. If I was in this guy's company and I saw that, I would jump ship very quickly. Not because I thought like, hey, this guy's a jerk. I would think, this guy is fucking stupid. This guy's got to be one of the biggest idiots I've ever seen. I would question everything he says. I would question everything he believes. I would question everything he does. Because only an idiot would go online with their fucking full name, with their reputation behind them, and engage in any way, shape, or form with King Milkfart in this community. You gotta be stupid, Gary Nolan. Gary, let me ask you a question. Who's smarter in this bunch? Is it you? Is it Matt Ford? Is it King Milkfart? Is it Chris Mellon? Who in the bunch? Who in the group? Who's got the brains? Is it Leslie Keane? I want to know who's running this operation, because whoever is running this operation might be the stupidest motherfucker I've ever seen, ever. Because you guys continue to fail and fail and fail, and you think you're failing upwards, but I promise you, this stuff is looking worse and worse and worse. And the more you align with King Milkfart after he says stuff like you're gonna regret it. I mean, guys, if you think that drawing on the side doesn't look like him, you're wrong. All right, because that's actually identical. That's identical.
Yeah, and
so,
this also kind of something similar happened when TTSA came out. So before it was the Lou crew of radicals, it was the TTSA crew. So it kind of feels like they're just kind of going back into that step. And like we say, like Lou Elizondo, Gary Nolan, Sean Cahill, Matt Ford makes T-shirts for this guy. They all know what he's doing, and they're all totally fine to use him on like really official things like this new UAP Disclosure Fund, right? Like I would not, like you said, Jib, I would want him nowhere near this. I would be pissed if I was you on and I saw Gary Nolan doing this. Yeah, this is crazy, dude. It's weird, and they keep on proving us right. Like we say this stuff, people don't believe us, and then stuff like this will happen. And it's like, bro, you can't. Yeah. Dumb. Again, I'm not saying Gary Nolan is dumb. He seems like a smart guy, but you can be smart and stupid at the same time. In fact, doesn't Kit Green call them savants, Gary? Gary, are you a savant? Are you not able to see what's right in front of you, but you can piece things together in the back, like other people's ideas and the patents for yourself? Is that kind of what's going on? I really want to know. I'd love to interview you, Gary. I'd love to get a conversation started where we can discuss if you're like a savant or not. I want to know socially what's going on. You don't understand what associating yourself with a known doxer, harasser, and sexual harasser of minor children. You think that these public things aren't going to come to light? How many times has King Milkfart's account been suspended, Red? Permanently suspended. Like 3 or 4, I think.
For what though? For what? Abusive behavior? Yeah, that's what it's for. That's what it's for. So it's not just people who think that he might be abusive. It's literally the entire platform. So continue to use your enforcer. Continue to reward him, right? Continue to reward him with this weird, admiration and head patting, because he's your attack dog. But now we know he's your attack dog. And the more companies you make and the more he sides with you and the more you continue to use people like this, the more it's going to look like what's happening is that you are attacking your critics with people who are basically psychopaths, who can bend the law, break the law, and you're willing to put the community in danger. Because it's not just me and Red and people who criticize you that he goes after. It's also women and children. It's wives, right? I mean, he physically threatens these people. Like the guy, represents a group of people as well that are continuously doing this on and on and on in the community. So it's like this. Does the UAP Disclosure Fund represent hate? That's my question for you. Does the UAP Disclosure Fund represent hate? Is it going to push hate? Is it going to use violence? Is it going to use hatred? Is it going to use racism, sexism, intimidation, tactics in order to get its point across? Because right now you have your enforcer, King Milkfart, saying that that's basically what he's going to do. That Jason's going to live to regret it. Regret the fuck out of it. In the very near future, right? So, you know, pick your team wisely. Gary, if you picked yours, that's good. UAP Disclosure Fund, if you guys understand what's happening right now in your company, what your guys are doing, if you think this is just how you do it, no, probably not. Probably not how you're going to guys. I mean, I'm not giving advice to corporate people. You guys get it, right? You guys got your own thing. God forbid you ever have a competing company come up and they find out this stuff. God forbid someone out there doesn't like Gary, doesn't like Elizondo, doesn't like Chris Mellon, doesn't like any of these guys. God forbid some of the innocent people that are in your company that have probably nothing to do with this stuff. God forbid someone wants to sniff them out, right? And expose this. I mean, if someone were to piece this together, it would look terrible because it just seems really fucking stupid. I don't know. For me, if I was going to enter into a population or a community of people who were potentially at risk and vulnerable for things like mental trauma and whatnot, as induced by like the so-called alien phenomenon, I definitely would be careful about who I associated with, and I want my community to know I'm not out here abusing people. We're not for that shit. If I saw that, I would do what Red and I do all the time, which is to say I disavow that. We don't want people going after our community. We don't want the wives, the children, the fathers. We don't want them concerned and worried. We want them engaged, happy, feeling safe, so that way they can share their story and share their ideas and possibly help push this whole thing forward. But this behavior, straight up threatening people and then you whistling and celebrating the threat, for me is like, hey, that's stupid, man. That's stupid. Like, let's run it, dude. Let's do a fucking some type of thing. Let's have a conversation, Gary. And the Disclosure Fund. Let's talk about this. I would love to have a conversation about how low you think of the community, that you would put them at risk of this kind of treatment just because you don't want to be criticized online. So, interesting. But I don't know. I don't want to speak for Gary or the UAP Disclosure Fund, but here's what we're going to do. I know that, and I feel safe making this announcement, but Red, correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to be watching this, and we're going to be watching this behavior like we have been for years. If you think the community of UFOs and ufology online should be safe and should be something that perhaps can be like a place for people who are feeling vulnerable to discuss these ideas without being straight up threatened if they get criticized, then yeah, continue to watch the show. Continue to support the show because we're covering this. These guys aren't getting away with any of this stuff. Like if these guys, you know, if they want to support this type of behavior, then we're going to keep an eye on it. We'll report it here at Skyfire News, guys. It is Tuesday, June 4th.
UFO Joe just quote tweeted Skyfire News. I feel like a lot of our haters are going to quote tweet us after this episode. I'm excited for it though.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, here's the thing. Like I support organizations and I actually support business. I think that it's great. But I don't really support business in the UFO community freely that are consistent of people who support hate and also consistent of people who are in the CIA and shit. I think that that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? There are some weird intelligence community assets in these groups, and I kind of want to see more grassroots stuff pop up, but beggars can't be choosers. For now, UAP Disclosure Fund, you're on the board. We're keeping an eye on you. We hope for success. We hope you guys keep your nose clean. At least I do anyway. But we'll be watching.
All right. Kind of a short turn long episode, kind of a boring topic in the organization, but hey, we'll be back tomorrow. Something fun. Let's do something phenomena oriented tomorrow. Something less on the people side of it. But this was breaking news, and I think we learned some things. And yeah, dude, really weird news from Gary Nolan.
Dude, this is disappointing. And again, I'm not calling him stupid. I want to know if he understands how stupid this play is, because it just is fucking whack. But yeah, guys, tomorrow we're going to do a show on the phenomenon. We're going to dive into a topic that I think has been on everybody's mind. Tune in to check it out. Wait for the thumbnail and the announcement to drop tomorrow. Until then, we're going to go out with the one and only song about Matt Ford, all right? As requested by our super chat. If you guys have any requests, don't be afraid. Pop them in. We'll be at your door tomorrow, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Thanks again for walking us through this, Red. Much appreciated, bro.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
You too, man. Peace.
He's doing his best. He's knocking on the right doors. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. All the right words. Oh Lord, Matt Ford. In 2022, Matt was not around. Ufology. What did he do to get so far with the loop? Parasitology. You claim Green Street attacked Tim's fam. Well, damn. So were you telling the truth or bending the truth? We got the posts and we're gonna show them. Why didn't you show them that? Matt, did your evidence? Why is that? What did you do that for? What's up, Matt? Who the hell is Matt Ford? He's doing his best. He's knocking on the right doors. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. Who they write for? Oh Lord, Matt Ford. Yeah, you claim Green Street attacked Tim's fam. Well, damn. So were you telling the truth or bending the truth? We got the posts and we're gonna show them. Why didn't you show them, Matt? Matt, did you show evidence? Why is that? What did you do that for? What's up, Matt? Who the hell is Matt Ford? He's doing his best. He's knocking on the right door. He's getting the guests and saying all the right words. Who they write for?
Thanks for the money, it's about to go fast. Got a plane ticket and you know it's first class. I heard someone talking that shit and I have to regulate. I need y'all dumb and easy to manipulate. When it comes to ufology, you know I caught the schism. Attack a housewife and then on to the next victim. I know you might be shocked, but that's just the way I am. Started so many UAP companies, I forget where you lay. I need y'all dumb and easy to manipulate. When it comes to ufology, you know I cause a schism. Attack a housewife and then up to the next victim.
I hate Skyfire News.
You might be shocked, but that's just the way I am.
What the fuck is this world?
Started so many UAP companies, I forgot which one's a scam, but scam.
Let him cook. Let him cook now.
Cause I'm having all the fun with my white bread homies at the UAP Disclosure Fund. We out, y'all. These people ain't gon' sigh up themselves.
I hate Skyfire News.
We out, y'all. These people ain't gon' sigh up themselves.
Put a lot of technical testing coming. That was a lot.
We out, y'all. These people ain't gon' sigh up themselves. We out, y'all. These people ain't gon' sigh up themselves.